Good morning. My name is Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK, and
I'm Louise Goldin from Clarity Craft in the UK as well.
so welcome.
Nice to see you all.
It is indeed. So welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. Maybe this is the first time you've tuning in, then welcome. Say hello. It takes a little bit of a while for our friends to find us. So there we go. We've got some friends. We've got Catherine coming in over on Facebook.
Oh, and Carol.
There we go.
Hi, Carol. You all right?
So basically, there's several different ways in which you can watch Groovi Tuesday. You can either watch on YouTube by going to the claritycrafts.com YouTube page, or you can go to the claritycrafts.com Facebook page. So there's several different ways of watching. You can watch live, as we are now, or if other commitments are in place, then you can go back and watch afterwards. So we're currently at episode, I think it's about 170 odd episodes.
It's a big library of videos. And the good thing is I know a lot of people watch it on YouTube, but then they talk on Facebook on the chat. So they have their chat available while they're watching it on the telly as well.
They do indeed. I'm just getting the all clear. Thank you, Gilly. Gilly's just giving us the all clear. Excellent. Lovely Jane is otherwise occupied this week. I think she's up to secret stuff. For this upcoming Sunday's TV show.
Of course, yeah.
Which you have to find out on Sunday
what
that's all about. Yes. So what we thought to do, we'll just give it some time just for some friends to come. We've got lovely Mo. There we go. Everyone's coming in. Good morning. So Lorraine's back over in Spain. Wow. What's it like over there? Sunny in Spain.
Is it warmer than here?
I bet everywhere.
Can't be hard.
No, everywhere's warmer than here. So there we go.
It is nice because I've been this morning. I went out into the garden and I saw crocuses and snowdrops in the garden. So it's the promise of spring.
It is
in the air.
It is indeed.
It's starting to get a bit milder and warmer, slightly.
Where?
Apart from yesterday, it was raining, pouring with rain. Oh dear.
So if this is the first time tuning into Groovi Tuesday, welcome. So the idea behind Groovi Tuesday is to showcase some designs. And this week we're starting on a brand new collection designed by Tina Cox.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is. The all-in-one plates.
The all-in-one plates, that's right. So we launched these a couple of weeks ago. But because this is on YouTube and we're going out live now, you can, when they do turn up, you can go back and watch at your leisure.
Which is the good thing about having all the library of the catalogue of all the videos in the past is you can go back and see something, there's picot cutting, embossing, so many different things to look on all of the episodes.
It is indeed. So the all-in-one plates from Tina Cox, where did they come from, so to speak?
Yeah, so they originally came from Tina's Floral Swirls Corners 1 and 2.
Okay, so if we bring those in so our friends at home can see them. There we go.
There we go. They're really nice. I had so many design ideas in my head when these came out, and the all-in-one plates come from 4 cards that Tina Cox designed. They're in the II books, I believe, as well.
Yes, they are.
So the II books are really good for inspiration as well, to go and have a look, and there's a description of how Tina and some of the design team made them. But no, these corners are really lovely. Tina used a couple to create the card that we're doing today, the black and white one. So it's just this one here.
So these are large A4 square plates. So this is where it all came from.
Yeah.
And Barb and I did a show, I think it was towards the end of last year. It might have even beginning of the year. And what we found, or what Barb found, was that there was these beautiful pieces of artwork from Tina. Yes. And we were trying to work out where they'd come from. We thought, it must have been put in the wrong boxes. And then Tina being Tina, she'd taken a bit from this plate here and a bit from that plate to create these 4 beautiful designs. So Barb said, you know what? She said, I'm sure some of our friends at home, whether they're new to parching or they've been doing it for a long time, would really benefit by having the designs exactly as Tina came up with in her head on plates.
Yeah, because when they originally came out, I looked at some of Tina's cards and I wanted to replicate the black and white one that I saw.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a struggle because you were wondering where each corner was and how to lay it out to create that pattern building.
Yeah.
But that's the good thing about the all-in-one plates, is that it's all done for you. You can just enjoy the process of all the other techniques that you want to use. So the white work and the grid work and all of those sort of things. The line art's there, available.
So we have a look at these on the overhead then. We'll look at each one individually. So there we go. So if you want to press that button, Louise.
Yes.
There we go. So this is the first one. So
Yes.
this is what Tina created. And as we mentioned earlier, it's taken from those two larger A4 square plates. And it's sort of, for me, it's like pattern building.
It is. And that's the nice thing about Tina Cox's style as well. She loves to pattern build. And this is only just a couple of corners which has created this card. You wouldn't have thought it's just literally just two corners. But yeah, it's lovely colours actually. The colour scheme of that's really nice.
And she's also used other plates in the collection, so like the nested scallop circles and the nested scallop squares. So you can see how Tina's mind works and how she's brought it all together. But if we have a look at the plate underneath that's been traced out, we can see here is the design transferred to an all-in-one plate.
Yeah, okay. All ready to go then.
It is indeed. So you've got your built-in scallops around the outside on there. And as we know, the beauty of Groovy is that if we want to, you've got the frame. So you've got a square frame, you've got a circle frame that you can put anything else in as well.
Exactly. You can put any design you wanted to put in there. It doesn't have to be, you know, the hearts and everything. You can have the corners here and do something completely different, maybe like different flowers in the
one
background.
of the other plates, yeah.
And then this box here is perfect size for, you know, the plate we were talking about last week, you know, the special sentiments.
Yes.
You could just get one of those sentiments in there as well if you wanted to have an actual longer sentiment.
That's right. So then the next one in the collection, let's bring that one in. So this is lovely. So Tina's done picot cutting. And I think that's one of the great things about these plates is that depending on what level of parching you're at, if you just want to trace them out, add some colour, job done. But we know that it gives you the confidence, doesn't it, Louise, to maybe want to learn how to do the picot cutting.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a little bit of white work and colour in there as well. It just gives you that composition, that starting idea. And then once you've got that idea, you can then, you know, bring in your techniques.
Yeah,
afterwards.
Absolutely. So that's the second one in the collection. And then we have the third one in the collection. So very sort of simple but elegant. You've got that lovely corner flourish. I love this little sprig here with the flowers.
And the panel's done for you as well. So, you know, that panel again can be used for other things. You know, you can put different things underneath, and yeah, I like that as well.
And what does the plate look like itself? Completely traced out. There we go.
Yeah. So
really.
And you can, if you wanted to, you could bring this scallop detail underneath here. So you've got a banner, if you wanted to.
Again, the beauty of Parchment, the Groovy system, is that you can pick and choose. And I think this was Louise's favourite one. So this is where we're sort of heading over the course of the next few weeks.
So elegant, isn't it? I love this.
Really is.
And you've got some lovely grid work in the middle, which we will do further down the line, maybe in part 3. It's an actual, if you turn it just that way, it's a straight grid, but it's being used diagonally.
In the centre.
In the centre,
Let's come in and have a look at that in a little bit more detail. There we go.
There we are. So yeah, that's just using a straight grid, and then Tina's just created a nice little pattern in there. So we'll focus on that further down the line as well.
That's lovely. I think the monochromatic look is quite dramatic, isn't it?
Elegant, isn't it?
Yeah, and the plate, if we look at the plate, exactly how that comes.
There we go.
So when you look, doesn't that look, if we can bring that one side by side, Lou, just as because you wouldn't have thought that was the same plate, would you?
No, because there's so many more intricate things going on, which is the good thing about this, is that's done for you. So then it gives you a chance to concentrate, and you don't have to do the grid work. If you're not at that stage yet, you can just use the thank you, colour it in with Dorso oil behind or something. You don't have to put the grid work in if you didn't want to. But you can further down the line once you have that knowledge behind you.
That's really, really beautiful. So this is what Louise is going to be taking us through over the coming weeks. I'm sort of, Louise is going to be in the driver's seat. I'm going to be the passenger.
You're on the bus and I'm driving.
So Louise, if
Gosh,
some of
help
our
us.
friends are tuning in for the first time, so your sort of your background, how did you get into Parchment?
So I got into Parchment probably, I would say actually 2016, thinking about it. I went to a retreat.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of stamping and stenciling. So, you know, what you were doing on Friday with Barbara, that's the sort of stuff that I started out doing.
The scene building.
The scene
with those
building,
yeah.
yes. Because I think when I was a lot younger, I saw one of Barbara's shows and she was doing A Joy to the World and she was creating a scene in the O.
In the O, yeah.
And then seen around the outside. That's the first time I ever saw Barbara on telly. And I thought, oh, wow, that's so clever. It's really, really, really clever. So I went to a retreat and the second day we did some Groovy. First time I've ever done it. And I can't remember what it was exactly.
That would have been the first time Groovy probably would have been introduced to one of our summer retreats, because it had only been launched in the June the year before. Actually, It may have been done the year before. I can't remember.
But so that is on the second day. And then Barbara liked some of my work when I was doing the stamping, the day of the stamping. And she said, oh, would you like a job? I said, yes, please. So yeah, I started in the office at Clarity, but I just fell in love with all the different plates. I think I remember falling in love with Groovy when I saw Linda's bra and knickers. I thought that was so cute. Not her actual bra and knickers, but the plate, the Groovy plate bra and knickers. Yeah, ooh la la, that was it.
That was it, the ooh la la collection.
So yeah, I saw that and I thought, oh, that's really, really beautiful. So you had at that time, I don't know if you had the card blanks, but you
possibly
could create
not.
a card.
Yeah.
And I created the little bra and the knickers, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. But from then, I fell in love with all things Groovy, and I sided more into the Groovy side because I just loved all the techniques and everything. So that's really what I do now.
And you've travelled all over. You've been to Linda Williams and Gal Sydenham's workshops.
Yes.
You've been to Tina Cox's workshops. You've been to Barbara Gray workshops. And the retreats as well with Linda, you and Barbara as well. I did a few retreats at the Spa Hotel. Yeah,
it's lovely.
So you've learned from the best.
I have.
And you're here to share
all my knowledge eventually.
Yeah.
I'm passing it over. I want everybody to learn new things every day. I think it's so important to learn, especially in such a beautiful art. You know, now we have the line art of Groovy. That's the fabulous thing about Groovy, is then it gives you that chance to go further and do your embossing and your grid work and your tool work, because the line art, you don't have to worry about the line art, you know, oh, it's not perfect. You know, if you're doing it freehand, you know, doing a straight line, it's going to look lumpy because you're not going to have the same pressure all the time. So that's a good thing about Groovy, I think, is that the line art's there, and there's so many beautiful library of designs now.
There sure is.
Lots and lots of designs to choose from.
Excuse me. And there's a lot more in the pipeline as well. Now, before we get started with Louise, I just wanted to give a shout out. Mini makes, okay? These folders, they are flying out the door as soon as we get in. Now, I've spoken to the supplier, and we have cleared out all their stock until the middle of March. However, I've managed to, they turned up yesterday. We've got some of the green back in stock, so we've just bring that in on the overhead. So if you're after the green, it's 31758, and I've got a handful of 2 new colors. We've got the zesty yellow, which is 31767, but you found those already. And for those little red devils out there, we have a lovely red as well, and the item number for that is 31766. So if you're interested in those, it's definitely worthwhile getting those now, because say it's mid to the end of March before they get their stock back in. I think it was the same as our brushes. It's on a boat somewhere.
Really
but I've literally, I know I said I cleared out before. They found some more of the green, and then they had a couple of other colors, and I've now taken everything that they have there.
You've cleared their shelves.
I really they said to me, what are you doing with them? I said, oh, we're passing on to our lovely customers.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we have a look at that black and white piece
We will.
that
Yes.
we're going to be heading towards? So this is using the Thank You all-in-one plate. Now, if you've gone for the whole collection, we had that at a really special price, and I'm sure it's still at that special price on the website. I think it was you got the parchment for free.
Yes. For the A5
so
parchment.
for the
yes,
A5 parchment. So let's have a look at where Louise is going to be taking us over the coming weeks.
Yeah, so we've got the front part is your normal clear parchment, and then I think we decided to use midnight blue in the background.
That's right, because the black we ran out many moons ago, and due to the cost, we can't get that back in stock. But the midnight blue we found was really, really lovely.
Yeah, the midnight blue is nice. It gives it just a tiny little bit more of a pop of colour.
Yeah.
But it will look more or less black once you put it behind the black piece of card. So we're going to focus on the clear parchment today. What we're going to do today is just the main line art.
Yeah.
Using the 1 and 2 Groovi tool. And then we'll probably get started on a bit of white work as well.
Okay, right, let's get going then.
Plenty to get on with. So
to get started, so we need our plate. we need the plate mate that comes in the starter kit.
Yep.
Yeah. What else do we get? Are our friends at?
Sometimes
what I do, Lou, is bring in all the pieces that our friends at home are going to need.
Yes.
So that they can gather their bits and pieces together. So obviously, black matte doesn't look very nice on an overhead camera. So it's your A4.
Well used.
It's your A4 black matte.
Yes, I've got my A4 black matte from the starter kit.
Yeah.
And I then have my plate mate.
Yeah.
Which is also well used. That is from starter kit.
Yeah.
And then my all-in-one plate.
Okay. And what else are we going to need for this session?
So we're going to need our parchment.
So you're going for A4 parchment.
I've got some A4 parchment here.
Yeah. What else?
So I've also got my Groovy guard.
Yeah.
That is helpful, especially if you've got clammy hands.
Yeah.
We'll need our tumble dry sheet.
Yeah.
To make it easy for us to do the line art.
Okay.
And then I've just got my sticker tabs.
Groovy tabs.
Yep, very helpful. And then I will be using the 3 and the 4.
Wooden tools that also come in the starter kit.
Yeah. And I'm just going to use the Pergamano
4.5, I reckon that is. Yeah. And that's sad that I know just by looking at the size of the ball on how that is.
Okay,
so let's go to the overhead then.
Wonderful.
Are we ready? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's just attach my stickers. So I'm just gonna one there and one there. Perfect. So I'm going to bring my number 1, my tumble dry sheet. So here we go. Perfect. So let me start in the middle. I'm going to use the number 1.
Okay.
The number 1 tool to create. I'm going to leave out the thank you because we're going to do some grid work in there. Yeah, I'm just going to use that over there. So for the flowers, I'm going to switch to the number 2 because I'm going to be doing some white work in that flower. Okay, so by using the number 2 tool, it's not as bright. No, it won't be as bright. It won't put in the pressure into the groove as much as the number 1 will. So that allows us to make the white work a little bit more seamless. So there we go. It's just nice to, it's very relaxing, isn't it? Just to get into the groove. I use my thing as well. So you wiped again because was you feeling some resistance on the parchment? I was feeling a little bit of resistance, yeah. So if you do struggle at any point with your Groovy tool, with the resistance, you might just need to wipe over with the tumble dry sheet again. This makes it a lot smoother as you're going along. Very therapeutic.
It's quite mesmerizing, isn't it? I mean, I very rarely watch it in action, so to speak.
Yeah, so you're most of the time you'll be doing it. So you don't, when you watch something, it's like those things you see on YouTube. What is it, the ASMR or something? When you see people doing things, it's just relaxing to see. There we go. I saw on Groovy Worldwide, the lovely Angie finished your homework.
Oh, the homework.
Yes, your lovely heart. Yeah, she did a very good job. I saw that. It's really nice. Well done, Angie.
Excellent. I'd completely forgotten about that until you just mentioned it. I forgot I'd send that half-done piece of artwork to somebody. So if we have a look at what we've got here, so that's just, I mean, that just on its own is lovely, isn't it?
It is, and that would look nice in a small card, maybe like a 4x4. You could just create a line here, do a little bit of grid work in there or a little bit of grid work there, a bit of white work, and depending on how you colour, that would look actually really lovely, wouldn't it?
Perfect for your little mini makes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good thing about these plates, is that because there's so many different corners and patterns, you can make them into your PTCs or your mini makes as well.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the number 2 tool for the leaves. I'm going to be doing some white work on the leaves as well.
Okay. We've actually got a birthday boy in the room today, Richard Gray.
Oh, happy birthday,
Many
Richard.
happy returns, Richard.
Yeah.
I
You
think
got the same birthday as my mum. It's my mum's birthday.
Oh,
as well.
is it?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Louise's mom.
Happy birthday, Mum.
Will she be watching?
She will be, yeah, she'll be watching.
Let's speak to the camera then. Let's wish Louise's mum a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mum. And happy birthday, Richard, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right, let's do the leaves. And it's very therapeutic doing the line art, I reckon. If you get lost in creating different designs, that's why it's on the design team, seeing all of the different designs that people do. I do love that process of the original line art and seeing something coming out.
It's sort of, as you're tracing out, I mean, obviously I do it so I see it, but actually watching it on the camera overhead, it's like it's being illuminated by passing the tool into the groove, isn't it?
It is, and it just suddenly just pops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see it just come into life as you're going along. I've done the stems in the number 1 tool.
Okay.
Again, just to make that pop, but I'm doing the leaves in the number 2.
So I'm going to ask our friends, because say I'm meant to be monitoring the chat. I am watching the chat, making sure everybody's behaving. So do we have any friends tuning in for the first time today?
Yeah. Be good.
If you are, say hello.
Yeah, everybody's really welcoming, I find, on the chat, and our whole Groovy community is really friendly and sweet. Everybody's willing to help. You know, if there's somebody new in Groovy Worldwide or on the chat, you always find everybody's helping each other, which is so lovely to see.
It is, isn't it? And I think that's what crafting is often about, isn't it? It's sharing.
It's that community, isn't it? Everybody loves going to a workshop and just having that community. It's so important because we don't really get that a lot nowadays, do we? Not everybody in the world wants to get on.
No.
So it's nice to see everybody in our community getting on. There we go.
So when you, for example, these plates from Tina, these all-in-ones, we can see that because of the way that Tina's created them, taking a bit from here and a bit from there, and then Barb's idea to create these all-in-ones are a perfect opportunity. It doesn't matter what level of parching you're at. I mean, if you want to, you can go for the A4 square plates and have a play around. And I know they proved quite popular the last couple of weeks, that some of our friends at home have revisited the A4 squares I thought, right, you know what, I can give this a go.
Mm.
Some people have that way of thinking, don't they?
Yeah.
Their mind works that way. But some people maybe just want the, I wouldn't say easy life, but some people just want to have the design predefined.
Exactly. And the good thing about when you get the all-in-one plate, there's a little printed page on the back, isn't there?
There is
Of
the
actual
coloured
design.
inspiration. Yeah.
So it's nice. You get a little bit of inspiration with the actual plate, which is really handy, because especially with colour as well, not everybody knows exactly what to put behind a design. So it's nice when you get that little bit of inspiration. You know, with any of the cards, this is what it could look like.
Yeah.
So that is the nice thing about that.
So Louise, I'll ask, did you try parchment craft traditionally back in the day, or had it never sort of crossed your mind because you was more stampy and inky?
Yes, I was more stampy and inky. I did try the Pergamano kits. Went to a craft shop when I was about 18, 19. There was a little craft shop, and I got a Pergamano kit from there. But I got it home and I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. But in those days, there wasn't a lot of I didn't find any teaching classes. I didn't know, obviously, I wasn't in the community as much. I didn't know about all of the different things that were available.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did try and failed with the original tracing. I struggled with that because you had to do the so you had to do the white ink, and then you had to do the embossing, and for me I struggled with that part. But I do have lots of different books on all of the traditional styles and things back in the day. So, coming along nicely. This. What about you? Did you have a?
Did exactly the same. I tried the original Pergamano starter kit. It was an A5 box. I think it had a black sponge mat in it. It had a tool. I think it may have had a white pen. But I was heavy-handed. I was impatient. I'd nearly finished the piece, and then I made a hole in it. And I'd spent and I wasn't 100% happy with my tracing out, because I suppose I was rushing. I was used to stamping, and with stamping you get that instant result every single time.
Yeah, that is the thing about stamping, or stenciling, anything like that, you get mixed media, gel press, you get that instant result very quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas with parchment, it's more about the process, isn't it? You enjoy the process of creating all of the different techniques.
Yeah. And like you, I mean, I think YouTube was fairly new. I don't even think Facebook existed back then.
No.
Show my age now.
That was the thing. Nowadays, there's so many things available for people to learn. You know, there's a library on our YouTube page of all of the different. I mean, I think there's lots of different ones, isn't there? There's white work. And
there is, yeah.
Colour, and such a library of different information now. Whereas, like you say, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you didn't have all of that.
No, I don't even know whether the internet existed.
No.
But
it's all about the process, and I find I think that's why I enjoy parchment so much, is it is about the process. And you can get lost for hours, all of a sudden it's dinner time. You think, where did that time go?
So when you tried parchment for the first time at that retreat back in 2016, I think you said.
Yeah.
Did you, obviously you had some experience of doing it in the traditional style. Did you think that, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this?
I must admit, I fell in love with it from that day, because I thought, oh, it looks so delicate. And now I can do the line art. I just wanted to learn all sorts of different techniques. Just that day just made me fall in love with, and seeing all of the designs that came through after, it was so lovely to to be around when all of the designs were being created.
Mm.
You know, there was such an amazing amount of designs, because then we had Tina's designs. Tina's came in, Linda came in, and then we had just all of these different designs available to us. You know, there were so many. We have such a lovely library of them now. I mean, I like looking at on the website. There's so much inspiration on all of the products.
The products,
now. We have a matching little library now.
Yeah, it's a little gallery, isn't there? We're trying to do so for some of the older stuff. We're trying to work backwards, but as we bring you new stuff, as Louise says, there's always some. Can we have a look, Lou, at what you've done so far?
Yes.
That's another frame, isn't it?
I know, it's one frame inside the other, isn't it?
And I think that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's that sort of building up that all of a sudden you can take that outer frame and put something in the middle.
Last week when we showed all of the different design team samples, there were so many, you know, different takes on this plate. You know, on all of the plates that are given.
Yeah.
You set the design team loose on them, and you see all of these lovely design ideas coming forward as well.
So if we lift that up away slightly from the Groovi plate while it's on the plate, mate, so we can sort of see. If I just lift that up a little bit like that, if we do that, so we can see. I mean, and do you want to flip it over?
Yeah.
There we go. So look at that. I mean, beautiful, crisp, and you can really. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, Lou, so we can really see the difference in that line art from the number one and
the number one to the number two.
Yeah. So do you want to point out what you've traced out with the number one tool?
Okay, so the number one tool, I have traced the little scrolls.
Yeah.
And so the border, but all the flowers, I'm going to go this way. All the flowers I've done in the number two tool, because I'm going to be doing white work on those.
Okay.
Again, all the leaves are number two, but the stems here are all number one.
Perfect. And we can also see, so if you'd not done the middle piece, that would make a lovely square frame.
It would,
on its own, wouldn't it? Because it's just four corners, isn't it?
Yeah, you could do anything in there, couldn't you? You could put another sentiment, or you could make a little scene in there. It's very pretty.
And the beauty of using the plate mate with the design is into place.
It does.
So, and it's perfect for that, isn't it?
It is, yeah. There we go. Back into place, ready to start again.
There we go. So we'll zoom out a little bit now. There we go.
So let me just do this last flower.
And it really doesn't take long. Is anybody at home grooving along with us?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you just enjoying the chat and the banter?
I know, some good chats. There we go. Do enjoy the process, I must admit. There we go. So
that's all completed in that section.
It is, yeah. I think I'll start with this flower up the top here.
Okay.
Again, just using the number two tool.
I think it's very useful to have the double-ended wooden tools that come in the starter kit that you can just flip around, isn't it?
It's so easy just to flip over and start.
So obviously watching what you're doing, Lou, you're obviously just going around, flipping and turning the tool. Would you not, I know some of our friends at home, they would do like all the number two tool work first and then go with the number one. Or do you just, I mean, this is a little bit different to being at home because obviously you're talking whilst doing it.
Yeah. So I would probably, I like to go around the plate.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I would do the two and the one. And that's a good thing about, like you said, having the double-ended tool is so that you can just flip over when you want to. So I'm just doing the white tool, the number one tool, up until you get to these bits.
Because, the double line part.
Yeah, because then I'm going to put white work's going to go in here. So I'm just doing the number two on just the little end of the scroll.
Yeah. So when it comes to parching,
Hmm.
Is there a favourite technique or skill do you have, or like, do you like doing perforating and needle tool work? Do you have colouring?
I like probably I like creating grids. I like the grid work and I like the tool work.
Okay.
I do enjoy the process of colouring. I do enjoy that, I must admit. I love to see all the, and putting all of the, I like to cut all the flowers in and everything, but yeah, I like to do the counting part of grid work, create a grid.
So you work on a basic grid,
Yes.
old style.
Yeah, the straight or the diagonal. Although, if I do enjoy Josie's grids, they're nice because they're done for you.
Definitely.
You don't have to think. You don't have to think. You just have to emboss, and then, I mean, I usually perforate. I know people do it different ways, but I would perforate first.
Yeah.
With those grids, and then do the embossing. I know lots of people do it different ways, and it depends what you're comfortable with.
Okay.
With
So
most
we have a
things.
question.
Oh.
So let's have a look at the front. Do you want to carry on with that? And I'll.
Yeah.
So I've got a question from Olivia. So Olivia is saying she is crafting along at the same time.
Oh,
excellent. But she's got the original A4 square plates, and she's struggling to make a square in the middle because obviously the plates that Tina's taken it from, so that bit in the middle is just taking one of them. I'm trying to find it on the plate. Let's have a look at that one. It is.
Which one are we looking at?
It's this part here, isn't it?
It's to create. This bit,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So if I just bring, I'm just going to bring this in just while Louise is doing that.
Let me just bring the card in.
Yeah, that's perfect. So if I turn it that way, yeah,
this corner is this.
Yeah, and it's 4 times around the outside.
Yeah. So then you would just turn it round and do the next corner.
Yeah.
And then turn it around, do the next corner. If it helps, I mean, you can always underneath, if you create a square if you have nested squares, for example.
Yeah.
If you trace out on a scrap bit of parchment underneath and use that as a guide, sometimes that helps. I mean, I do that a lot when I'm doing my tool work freehand. I would create, just trace out the size that I would like.
Yeah.
Put that bit of parchment underneath.
So on your black mat.
Yeah, and then put the parchment that you're going to use with the tool work on top. And then you've got that guide of, so you don't
when you're turning it around.
Wonky. I use that as a guide for me.
I would do exactly the same.
Yeah, just because not always, you don't always end up in a straight line. You know, it goes a bit picked on wonky.
It can't it?
Yeah, and that's very easy to do. I mean, you know, with the years that I've been doing it, you know, sometimes, you know, it does go a bit wonky. And you think, oh.
But I would have done exactly the same if that was a stamp. If that corner was a stamp, I would do exactly the same. Obviously not on parchment. I would I would have a square. I would pencil in the square and then stamp over the pencil, and then when the ink was dried, I would then rub it out. That's how I used to do a lot of my pattern building with the stamps, with the corner stamps.
Because it's very hard just using your eye to get it to look straight. So yeah, I would use just a square traced out. So
top tip.
Yeah, on your nested squares, there will be a square about that size, and then just use it underneath, and then you've got that guide.
There we go. Right, so let's have a look where we've got up to.
That's a good question. Okay, right.
Apparently, our lips were out of sync, apparently.
Oh, no. Oh, you hate that when that happens. It watches sometimes when you watch films and all of a sudden the lips go different to the sound. It's very awkward.
I've got Sky TV, but it's Sky Glass, which runs off the internet, and that happens quite a lot on BBC One. So all of you'll turn over, and then you've been watching for about an hour, and all of a sudden you notice that their lips are out of sync. So you'd have to go to BBC Two, then go back to BBC One, and it's reset itself.
Yeah, sometimes if you go out and you go back in again, it sometimes fixes it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the old off and on trick. If something doesn't work, I always turn it off and on, and it always tends to work in the end.
Is any of our friends having any issues on YouTube? It looks as if the lovely Pat Coombs is having some issues on YouTube.
Oh, no.
Sometimes just, as you say, switching off, switching back on again.
Yeah, sometimes that works. That's my trick. It's about as mechanical as I go.
So Ken is then saying it's out of sync on YouTube, but spot on Facebook.
Oh.
That's
YouTube's fault.
Because I reset the system 5 minutes before we came on. So, because sometimes if the system that we use, if it's been on, because I get this up and ready earlier in the day, and sometimes if I don't log out and log back in again, it can do that. So, very strange.
Hopefully,
Mo says the first lesson in IT is switch it off and switch it back on again.
Yes, it's the first lesson. That's what everybody always says. If I used to have at my old job, I used to have to ring up if the computer went wrong, and they go, "Have you turned it off and on?" I'm like, "Yes, that's the first thing I've done. It's still not working."
9 times out of 10, that normally resolves the issue.
It does, yeah.
There you go. Lisa said she switched off and went back in, and it's okay again.
Yay! See the old off and on trick. It works.
I think it's amazing how it all starts to come together, and you can really see where Tina has taken like the corners to create this beautiful piece of artwork.
Yes, I mean, you can see if you take it home and like how you always say, if you trace it out, you spend that time with it, and you can see where everything's come from eventually.
I think it was a good idea to start in the middle, because we definitely saw the frame within the frame within the frame.
That's why I thought it would be a good idea to go from the inside out, because you see the pattern just start building up. Let me come here. This flower. She's got such lovely designs as well, hasn't she? All of her flowers and everything, they're always so usable in things.
Yeah, I think they're not they're timeless, aren't they? I think Tina's designs, Linda's designs, I mean, that's why it's very rare that we discontinue any of our designs in Groovy.
They're always very popular, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got such lovely designs. I've got quite a lot of Linda's and Tina's plates now. You could probably count on my hands what I haven't got. But it's actually been nice. I've been looking on Groovy Worldwide recently, and just watching everybody's all their hauls of their sale items that are coming through now. You know, the team are working very, very hard down there, getting everybody's sale orders out so you can play with them as soon as possible. But yeah, I like seeing everybody's hauls. Been seeing them, all these different pictures of all these goodies that people have got.
Just need to use them now and play with them.
Exactly.
Do you want to slide up a little bit, Lou, away from yourself?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
There we go.
I'm off. I've picked tongue again. There we go.
So engrossed in what she's doing.
I know. Very easy to do, isn't it?
It is. and when you think, I mean, and it doesn't take long. I mean, we had some chatting earlier on, but I mean, we're 1/4 to the hour now, and you've almost finished tracing out the design.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. It's just so easy. Imagine how long it would have taken if this was
in a traditional
way. Oh no!
I suppose also if we'd gone with Tina's original plates,
yeah, it would have taken a bit longer. Yeah, because I did actually create this black and white artwork when the II books came out, And it did take me a while to get to grips with where everything
Where
went. So yeah, it would take a bit longer to do it all freehand. So that's the good thing about having the all-in-one plate, is that the design's there. And I find a lot of people like that. It's just the composition's there, and then they can get cracking into all of their other techniques that they want to do. Makes life a lot easier.
It does, because as you say, I mean, Tina's just used a couple of corners to create this piece.
Yeah, there's only a few pieces.
Yeah.
Not even a lot.
But I know I would really find it difficult to try and explain to our friends at home, right, now do this, now do that. I mean, it's doable because obviously Tina has done that. But to have these all in one place,
just makes life so much easier.
It does. So you're only tracing out part of that design there, Lou. You're not doing the whole of it.
I'm just doing the sides here, because the good thing about this plate is it's giving you two choices. So to create the card that we're going to create,
yeah,
you'll want to have a straight line across.
Okay.
Here, 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 and here. But also what this plate gives is it gives you that opportunity that if you want to make a square bit of art,
yeah,
you've got this extra corner here, which you can bring the design outwards.
Right, okay.
So you've got two choices, really. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do these 3 petals here.
Yeah.
Bring in this a bit closer. Oh, it's already in that close, yeah. Oh, we'll bring it down a bit. So we're going to create a line across here, but what I'm just going to do first is I'm just going to put the line art in for these 3 petals here.
Okay.
And just these 2 little sprigs here as well. And then we're going to do the line across. I'm just going to turn it round in a minute and create that line just using these lines here.
Okay.
So we should be able to get that done. So there we go. So just the 2 sprigs.
Because obviously the original piece of artwork that Tina created is on 2 layers, isn't it?
It is, yes. But the good thing about this plate is it does give you options to do what you want, which is a good thing about Groovy in itself. So you can create a bit of square art from this, but you can also create what Tina has created and take away that part, which I'll show you in a minute. My head's not in the way, is it?
No, head's all clear.
Nothing worse than watching something and then this great big head looms in over the camera. Like, I can't see.
I've done it before, and our friends at home get a nice reflection.
Just came in this morning and saw the lovely box of chocolates.
Oh, one of our friends, our customers kindly sent us.
In the kitchen. And you know what? When I looked at the box of Thornton's chocolate, I just thought of Barbara Shack yesterday, tea for Thornton's.
Yes.
Tea for Thornton's. I was like, oh yes, I'm having a chocolate.
Tea for Tasteful.
Yeah. But that was a good, I enjoyed the Shack yesterday. I watched that when I got home. Tea for Trust.
Yeah. That's the great thing, whether it be the Shack, whether it be a craft along, a Groovi Tuesday, the Clarity Social TV, they're all available for you to go back and watch at your leisure.
They are, yeah. Anytime you want. Okay. Nearly done.
It's the fine detail on the design, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's just enjoying the process with a nice little chat in the background. It's nice, isn't it?
It is.
I hope everybody's got a nice cup of tea. It hasn't gone cold. The amount of times that I make a cup of tea when I'm crafting and it goes cold. Right, so there we go. So that's that part done. So what I'm just going to do.
So can we look at that from the front so we can see where we've got to so far?
So we've got the main part, the middle part.
Yeah.
All of the corners.
Uh-huh.
So you can see the difference between the number 1 tool again and the number 2. So all the flowers, petals and leaves are number 2. And all the straight lines and the scrolls number 1.
Okay.
It just creates that little bit. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move it round and I'm just going to create a straight line using
to join up
the 2 designs. So stick my pen. Use the number 1 again.
So it's still just using this one plate to create this piece of artwork.
Yeah, and just by turning it around, you've got the very sticky, these sticky tabs.
Have you treated yourself some new ones? New ones tend to be sticky, don't they?
Oh, I know. I get good use out of these, I must admit. But yeah,
Do you store them back on the carrier sheet or?
I do, yes.
I tend to put mine. I either leave them on the plate mate or my Groovy guard.
See the amount of places where they end up, though. I mean, sometimes I find some on the bathroom floor, and I think, where on earth did they come from? All the places that I found them in.
Let's ask our friends. Okay, let's have a little bit of fun in the room. Where is the strangest place that you have found a Groovy tab?
That'll be interesting, actually.
And only if it's allowable pre-watershed.
Oh, yes, yeah. There we go.
So that is the first stage of that design, isn't it?
Yes, so that is the stage. We've taken away the corners here.
Yeah.
So we're not adding these bits in.
Okay.
However, this corner will appear when we put it on our midnight blue, which we'll probably do next week. We'll do the midnight blue bit of parchment next week, and just create that line art for the 4 corners. So just we're going to hello, hey, just going to be able to create. If we just line it up there, so it's kind of also it looks nice because it's a continuation of this where. We're going to put the midnight blue there. So as you can see, there's going to be a slight border.
Yeah.
We'll put a slight border with the midnight blue around it. And we can either cut it out or picot cut it out, depending on what you would like to do. Don't have to picot cut the outside of this. You can just cut it with a guillotine if you wanted to. But the option's there if you do want to picot cut it.
So if we compare that to the piece that Tina's created then, are we able to lay that over the top so we can see exactly? So if we take your traced out piece and pop that over the top.
Oh, can I just...
Did you miss a bit?
I've missed a bit. I just noticed.
It's so easy to do, isn't it?
I know, it ran away from me. There you go. You're not getting away from me.
But it just falls back into the slot, doesn't it?
It does, just so effortlessly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me move those colours.
So when you look at what you've created, so if you're happy with what you've got there, then job's done. And the only difference really compared to the original plate is that Louise has just adapted by not tracing out the complete flower.
Yeah, so if I bring in this piece here, we just have taken a straight line across here and we've just taken this part out. So we're not including this part.
Yeah.
Just this little bit here.
But doesn't it give it a completely different look?
It does.
To the design.
Yeah, just creating the octagon piece of art. And then, because the good thing about Tina's work is she does things in layers. I notice a lot. and
Tina definitely
some of
likes
her
layers.
cards, she loves using one layer on top of the other, where it's a coloured bit of artwork on top of a white, or white on top of a colour. She creates these because I think I fell in love with Tina Styles because of all the layers and the intricacy of all the layers put on to create that finished card. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. What's the time? Oh gosh,
Wow.
that's gone so quick, hasn't it?
Welcome to my world, Louise. Time absolutely flies. It really does.
Yeah. So next week we'll probably start on the white work of the petals.
Okay.
And all of the little. Oh no!
Have you missed another piece?
Yes.
Okay. So tell our friends, Lou, at home, what are we going to need for next week then? For the next step.
Next week we'll need your embossing tools.
Okay.
So I have got the 3 and the 4.
Yeah.
For the little middle parts of the flowers and the very small stamen bits on the end.
Yeah.
I also have got my 4.5. I thought the 6 might be a bit too big for this artwork because they're only little flowers.
Okay.
So I've got the 4.5 and then the 3 and the 4 on the Groovi tool.
Okay. And do you have a preference over the black mat or the pink mat?
I like the black mat. I've learned how to kind of be a bit softer.
Control your pressure.
Yes. But I do use the pink one as well.
Okay.
Depends how I'm feeling. Am I feeling in a mood? In which case I'd use the pink mat because otherwise you end up with a great big blob.
Yes. Okay. I mean that is beautiful, and I just love how it can change the look of it just by missing out elements. So we've gone from an A5 square to this lovely hexagon shape just by adapting it very, very slightly.
Yeah. And then that gives you a chance. If you wanted to, you could do some tool work around the outside as well. That would look really nice. Just like your angle tool, maybe, just around the edges.
One of the multi-needle tools.
Yeah, that would look nice. And then put it on some coloured parchment, like the midnight blue or something. That would look really nice.
Perfect. Right. Okay. So that is the end of this
first
session.
It's gone.
End of this first session. And obviously Louise was going a little bit slower. So if anyone at home was joining in at the time, then it's all about that process, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're waiting for the plates, they will be with you as soon as we can get them to you. I know there's a large batch going out today of those plates because obviously we make them and then we clean them and then we pack them and everything else. So I saw Mr. Andy. He was picking a load of those this morning. So what plate is it? Asked Lillian. It is the Thank You all-in-one plate from Tina Cox.
Yes.
There we go. So it's that one there. So it's an A5 square, and that's the plate that Louise has been sharing with us. Okay. So what else have we got this week? So on Friday, I will be back with you on Friday at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock with the lovely Deborah Wheeler. It's a little mini makes coming up. You know that that stamp you said where Bar put a scene in, that Joy to the World. Yeah. I think Deborah has got 2 of those word framer stamps on brilliant. Friday. Yeah, so hope you can join us on Friday. And then it's you and me
on Sunday.
Something totally different, something very groovy and very, very new. So
exciting.
Very exciting.
Journey, yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Hope to see you maybe later in the week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hope to see you on Friday. If not, 3 o'clock, Sunday the 2nd of March, we will be here raring to go.
We will. And happy crafting, everyone.
Take care now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.